Junction.
Afternoon and welcome to What's Going On Grand Junction. I'm your host Ashica Smith and I'm here with David Foster, the owner of Kiln Coffee. Hi David.
How's it going, Ashica?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing good.
Good. Kiln Coffee is one of the newest coffee shops in Grand Junction today. And I have to say the coffee is amazing.
Well, thank you, Ashica.
So tell me a little bit about yourself and how you got started.
Okay. Well, a little about myself. I have an identical twin brother named John Foster. I kind of got involved in coffee growing up because we appreciate how coffee cultivates relationships and community. And that was kind of originally what latched us onto coffee. And then as we began to work in coffee shops, we began to obsess over different brewing methods or different ways of making coffee. And that's when we really started getting into coffee, and have always just appreciated the aspect of the quality of the coffee, but also seeing how it brings about community and relationships. And so that's kind of where I guess Kiln came from, was from that initial enjoyment of a cup of coffee, just chatting over with a friend.
That's awesome. How long did you and your brother experiment with coffee and really get into it together?
So my brother actually started working at coffee shops before me, and he originally worked for Pete's Coffee and Tea in Southern California in Newport Beach, and he became a shift lead with them, and then we both started working at a coffee shop together in Montana, which brought us down to Northern California. And we both worked there for a couple of years at a coffee shop where I started managing the shop there. And then the craft coffee movement came and kind of began to redefine what the coffee market is. And that's what really kind of started, I guess, for us changing really what coffee was and our experience with coffee, and making it more of a every time you go to a coffee shop, it's an opportunity to learn something new about coffee, as opposed to going in and just getting a cup of coffee.
So you guys are kind of putting in the experience also, rather than just getting coffee.
Yeah, definitely part of our identity is the experience. That's if you walk into our cafe, one of the first things you see on our bar is the pour-over bar. It's kind of featured at the forefront of the bar, and the purpose behind that was to kind of set us apart from what you would normally expect walking into a coffee shop. And it definitely takes a little bit longer to brew your cup of coffee. You can be waiting there for about 4 minutes waiting for your individual drip to come out, but the quality, the opportunity for conversation, and also being able to experience people tasting different unique flavors in their coffee for the first time is pretty exciting, at least for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what types of coffees do you have, flavors-wise and types?
Something unique about our, I guess, business model is we kind of modeled our coffee shop after a craft beer bar. So when you walk into a bar, you can have the opportunity to taste different craft beers from all over the country, or all over from Colorado, wherever that may be. For us, we really wanted to stick in Colorado, at least in the beginning, because there's so many great coffee roasters in Colorado. And so we're constantly rotating out every 2 to 3 months new roasters in order to feature what we're excited about and thinking about. Somebody maybe coming to CMU that lives over in Fort Collins. Maybe they're really excited about Bendel coffee over in Fort Collins, and for us to bring them here to feature on our pour-over bar, it's just an exciting opportunity to connect with them on something that they appreciate. And it's just fun for people to be able to experience, I guess, what everybody is doing in the craft coffee industry. Something unique too on, I guess you asked different flavors in the coffees. One that we have right now that comes to mind is out in Fruita, there's a shop that opened up about a year and a half ago called Best Slope Coffee. They're kind of the first craft coffee shop in the area right here. when they, on our pour over bar right now, we have their Ethiopia Sidama, which their Ethiopia Sidama is amazing. When your first sip, you can literally just taste a mouthful of berries, which is just, people would not necessarily expect that in a cup of coffee. But that's why working on the pour over bar is a lot of fun.
Yeah,
So,
and it's so different.
Yeah.
Like it probably draws the customers in and wanting to try the coffee.
Definitely.
Awesome.
So,
And so what else do you offer at Kiln Coffee besides just coffee?
so that's as far as the pour over bar, and then we also have our drip. We do have our espresso drinks, which it would also be considered coffee, but that's what your basic cafe menu. And then we do have, for non-coffee drinkers, we do have tea options. One company we're really excited about is Spirit Tea. They're actually out of Chicago. And one of the reasons why we chose them was because they're all direct trade with their teas. Is something that we're very passionate about, and their teas are amazing. We had one of their representatives train our manager at the shop with how to brew all the different teas and all the details behind it and the stories behind some of them, which some of them have some very unique stories of how they came about, which is cool. And it's just an awesome way, again, to add to the experience for the customer coming in and being able to share those things, little details about what they are drinking, as opposed to, oh, it's just a cup of tea that you're putting across the bar.
Yeah.
One thing that we are looking into right now is bringing in kombucha as we're moving towards the winter for something in the evening for people to be able to drink while they're studying or something if they don't want any caffeine too late. So, yeah.
Don't want to be up all night.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. And so you mentioned the drip process. So can you go into a little bit more detail about that and how you guys do that?
With the pour overs?
Yes.
Yeah. And so I guess on our pour over bar we have 5 different options typically. We'll have two of our own who currently, right now we're contracting with a roaster out of Denver to roast our own label. And then we have one from Best Slope, and then we have 2 that we just rotated in a new roaster called Mountain Mamas. And of all places, they're out of Silt, Colorado. But they actually just transitioned from a more traditional style of roasting into a craft style of roasting. So part of our desire to partner with them was to kind of promote and encourage them in what they're doing in their endeavors. But kind of I guess the method for us, every coffee shop you go into, they may use different pour over systems. Our choice of method in the shop is called a V60, made by Hario. And basically we scale out our grams of coffee, and we scale out the water that is going through. So the exact recipe is giving you the exact precise cup of coffee every single time. So we do 20 grams of coffee to 300 grams of water. And it's typically for a 12-ounce cup is brewed at 3 minutes and 30 seconds, and including the first brew is or pour is called the bloom is what they call it, because when you pour the water over the beans for the first time, you see little bubbles pop up in the grinds, which is it's a good sign because it shows that the beans are fresh. It's releasing the carbon dioxide from the beans, so it's kind of erasing a lot of the bitterness that you might otherwise experience drinking just out of a regular old auto drip machine or something.
Oh, so it makes a big difference.
It definitely makes a difference. Depending on somebody's palate, they might experience something different. It might just taste like a regular old cup of coffee to them. It definitely depends on the individual. And it's not going to be everybody's thing. We don't expect to have, I guess, everybody say that, oh my gosh, this is the best place, this is where you need to get your coffee. But we definitely believe in what we do and believe in the quality of it, and it's important to us. So.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. Thank you, David.
Yeah.
And here is a clip of Kiln Coffee. So Kiln is a very laid back and very, I would say, very comforting atmosphere. When you were creating the layout of Kiln, what was your thought process?
So definitely one of the goals in mind was that we wanted people to believe immediately when they walked through that door that they already had an incredible experience just walking in the door, and believe that they're going to get a great cup of coffee just because of the environment that they walked into. That was definitely important to us in the design of the space, and also part of the design of the space too. We wanted to keep it open, and a lot of the seating along the wall, and having different areas in the shop. Like towards the back, we have a couple of couches with no outlets around it, and there's some toys, and underneath a little table in the back, and that was kind of no outlets. We didn't want people back there on their computers camping on the couch. We wanted it to be accessible for moms to kind of be able to go in the back with their kids, a comfortable place that they didn't feel like their kids were invading everybody else's space out in the area, because I know it's stressful for a mom sometimes.
Yeah.
And out in the front, we have a ton of outlets with all of our tables going across, and even in the middle, we have outlets in the floor. And the purpose of that is because we really wanted to bring college students downtown, so that's part of the reason why we open till 9 o'clock at night. And so definitely part of the design of our space was geared towards college students, and being able to say that we want downtown to be a home for you guys. So
that's very comforting for us. So do you have a lot of college students coming in right now?
We've definitely got to meet a good amount of college students, which is exciting, but I definitely feel like we haven't been discovered as much in the evenings. That's one thing that I feel like, I mean, in general, going into it, we knew it would take time, and we want to commit to staying open until 9 o'clock at least for the first full semester, just to give that opportunity for that to grow. I just really want to be a part of, we would like to be a part of the downtown as it continues to grow. It's kind of an exciting time for downtown, with new restaurants coming in, and hopefully we continue to get more and more bars down there too. That just makes a fun environment for students to be able to go out on the weekends, because as Grand Junction becomes more and more known as a college town, with how fast CMU is growing, there's so much room for growth. So it's exciting.
That's awesome. And it's perfect because we can do homework on the weekdays and go out on the weekends.
Exactly.
And see you either way.
Exactly.
Well, great. Well, thank you so much for joining us, David.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me, Ashica.
Thanks. And tune in next week for What's Going on Grand Junction.
What's going on Grand Junction?